So welcome back everyone to another incredible episode of Chat with Dan here. For today on the show, I mean, what can I say? Right, we're having an incredible super badass Tuesday because we have on the show the incredible, the amazing, the badass, the superstar, the one and only, the legendary Logan. How are you today, man?
I'm good. I'm pretty good. How about you?
Doing fantastic. I mean, what better way to have an incredible, super badass day than to be chatting with someone as badass as you? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Thank you.
There you go. Perfect. Now, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, follow. It helps a lot. But also in the description below, you're going to find all of Logan's social media. Let's follow him and let's find out why he's super badass. And without further more, let's jump in. So I want to start this whole conversation by throwing out, the first question, which is, what was the moment that hit you? This is it. This is going to be my passion now. This is what I'm meant to do, basically.
Well, it's a bit of an interesting story, actually. So when I was in grade 8, that was, like 6 or so years ago. And it was closer to the end of grade 8, and we had to fill out these forms for what classes we wanted to take in grade 9. And we had like primary classes, secondary classes for in case the primaries were full or whatever. And I filled those. Drama or anything, I did not I did not put those on. Keep that in mind. And basically in grade 9, I was put into drama class because even the secondaries were all full, and I was like, well, damn it. But I didn't complain to anyone. I was like, I'll give it a shot, see what's up, see how this is. And a couple weeks in, I was like, well, goddamn, this is pretty cool, actually. And so I decided to keep going. I decided to put more effort into it and more of basically my time into it. And a couple weeks after that, me and my class, we did a little performance thing for a couple teachers, and the principal was there. And later that day, the principal emailed my mom, and he emailed her saying, Logan did a really good job in class today, and he did a really good performance. And my mom told me about this, and I was like, that made me feel really good and about myself. And so I decided in that moment, I was like, maybe this is something I should continue to pursue, and something I should try and get more into and learn more about. And so in that moment, I was like, well, let's see what else life has to offer me, and we'll take it from here.
And tell me, back when you were a kid, was there, like in a specific role or even on stage, that you were playing there, or even watching a film that kind of ignited more your passion for acting?
I'm not sure there's anything when I was younger in specific that, I mean, I have a brother, and him and I used to kind of just go out all the time and play around, be these different characters. Like, say we saw a Marvel movie or whatever, I'm like, oh, I'm Iron Man, and he's Captain America or whatever. So I those are kind of really the only things that I had in acting prior to grade 9. And there's yeah, there wasn't really specifically any roles or movies or shows or whatever that kind of got me into acting. And I'll be completely honest, I never really saw any live performances when I was a kid. Yeah, I only actually really started a couple years back. But yeah, it was just an email that made me into this.
And do you remember the feeling of your first audition? Was it like a little bit terrifying or even exciting or a complete disaster with a lesson that you never forget?
Yeah, I do. I think my first ever audition was about 2 years ago, and it was for this place called Society Performers Academy. And it was a process. There was like 2 or 3 auditions. I can't remember exactly how many. But the first one I went in with like 450 other people. And in that moment, I was like, what like, this is terrifying. I didn't know exactly how to comprehend that. And it was on Zoom, and because we don't do, well, in person auditions much anymore, and it was also based in like Toronto or something. It was a very, very scary audition process because I'd never been in an audition with so many people before, and this was my first audition. And there was the second time I was a bit more comfortable because I had done this. I was accepted through the first one, and then the second one, it was a very similar thing, but there was a hell of a lot less people. and I eventually got accepted, which I was very grateful for. But it was a very, very terrifying process to go through.
And do you still, let's say, right, that you like even to this day when you have an audition, do you still have like a little bit of memories for as your first one? Does that kind of yeah, somehow motivate you to give your best on every audition, something like that, or
I kind of put everything I've learned from basically everything, not just auditions. Like from my all my acting experience, I put everything into one bowl and I take it into the next audition I'm going to. And if I just kind of pick apart everything I need and every bit of information I need and I go into it. It's auditions, I'll be honest, are still pretty scary. But obviously I have a lot more experience now. So they're less scary and I have more ways to actually cope with this scariness, if that's the right word. But I've just taken my whole life and I bring it into the audition and I try and give everything I have. The answer could be no. It could be yes. It doesn't matter. I'm still going to give it my all either way. Even if I know it's going to be a no, I'm still gonna try and give my all to it and try and get the role or whatever I'm auditioning for, you know?
during those downtimes, right, between auditions that you haven't get like a call back and everything, how you like what do you usually do to stay, yeah, to stay creative basically during those times?
I don't do too much. I've the past what like year or two, I've been working on some projects, fan films and then short fan films. I've got one releasing hopefully soon. Still in the works, but I kind of just distract myself. I do always have the thought of I did this audition in the back of my mind in case I do get a call back and I'm not just like who the hell is this, you know? But yeah, I distract myself in case I knew I screwed up, but I could still get the call back, you know? And I'm always trying to keep myself busy and keep my mind flowing and doing all that sort of stuff while I'm waiting for a call back or whatever.
And looking back, what's something you wish someone had kind of warned you, let's say, about when you were just getting started into this whole acting industry?
I when I started my whole acting journey, I was told a couple of times that I was too old to do it. And people like because some actors start when they're super super young. You see like I don't know 5-year-old actors on the TV, and I was told a couple of times where people were like, "Oh, you can't do this. You're too old. You're." I can't remember how old I was, but like you're too old and all this kind of stuff. So that was getting in my head. But as the years went on by, I realized that acting doesn't have an age limit. You should just go in if you wanna if you feel this is what you wanna do, just go in for it, you know, and don't let the age kind of distract you from doing what you want to do. And this actually applies to anything in life, really. If you want to do it. Like it doesn't matter how old you are, just do it, right? And I wish I had gotten warned about that because I really put a dampening thing on my in my head. And it was difficult for the first couple of years, or even I can't remember, probably like 2 or 3 years, probably. So that was difficult mindset to get out of, but it's easier now.
And rejection can hit hard, right? I mean, nobody likes being rejected.
Oh,
So, what do you think? Yeah, like what has been like your most memorable no, let's say, and how has that kind of shaped you into continuing this journey, kind of with a different mindset, let's say?
I've not done too many auditions. I'll be completely honest with that. But there's been a few where I'm auditioning for I don't know like a backup character or something like that, and they don't call you back and say no. They just don't call you back at all, right? And there was the last time that happened was I want to say 2023 or summer of 2024. I can't remember. And basically I auditioned for this, they didn't call me back, and I was talking to some people, and you just got to keep going, right? I saw this quote. It was about dating, but you can use it for this. If you knew that you would get the role on your, say, 40th audition, because actors usually don't get it on their first, right? And you get the role on your 40th. Every time you audition, you're gonna be looking forward to that 40th. Like you're like, okay, I got 39 more to do, I got 38 more to do, and so on, right? You obviously don't have that. You just gotta picture that you're gonna have the little guy on your shoulder, whatever, telling you got 40 more auditions to do before you get this role. So the important thing is just to keep moving forward. If it's a no, it's a no, right? You can't force their mind, and you can't say, oh, I think I'd be perfect for this. They've made their mind, right? And you just have to move along to the next audition, and try and push that one to the side and keep moving forward, giving every other audition you have your all, and all the talent you have. Don't just give up, And that was also something else I struggled with. No's can hit hard. I think you're right, and you just gotta learn. It's not the end of the world. You just got to keep moving forward, And yeah.
Now, every actor has a moment where they think, should I keep going, or like all of those thoughts. So, did you ever have like that moment, and what pulled you back into continuing on this journey you're creating?
I've had a couple of those moments actually. The most I actually had one, I think, this year, a couple weeks back. And acting can get really awkward. You gotta do like this, not hit any other actors, and we did a completely fine performance. Stage kissing is very, very awkward. And I've done it a couple of times now, and I'm gonna do it more in the future because there's a role that I have that I will have to do it. So, but it is very awkward, and there were those moments when I was not auditioning, sorry, when I was rehearsing these scenes or whatever, and I was like, "Am I like what am I doing? Like, I why am I doing this?" And the thing that gets me back into the acting or whatever, back into my acting body, I guess you could call it, is I just don't really think about it too much. I just think it's for stage. It's for a scene. It's not important, right? It doesn't. It's just a scene. It's not the end of the world. Again, it's awkward, yes, but these things happen in acting all the time, and even worse things, right? And like I said, it's important to remember that stuff's not real. Like anything in acting isn't real usually, and it's important to just stay in the mindset where you want to just keep going, and don't think about it. Scenes come naturally. If you're overthinking it too much, you're gonna really screw up the scene. And I've learned that a couple of times. I really overthought a couple of scenes, and they just went. So yeah, just don't overthink it. That's how I get over fight.
There you go. And when you step into a new character, is it more like putting a mask on it, or kind of peeling back layers of yourself somehow?
I've heard a lot of different takes on this, and I got to say, I think for me, it's a mix of both. Because when you step into a new character, say, I've got this. Obviously, I've got my short film coming out in a couple of months. I think it's called Shadow of Vengeance, and it follows this guy called Jason Todd, or Red Hood, and I'm being this guy, right? I'm the lead role, and director and producer. But so when, like, I'm going into his body, I'm not actually a killer. I'm not. I'm not who he is. I'm putting a mask on for that, but the emotions are real. Like, I'm peeling back my own layers of my emotions, and I'm using my own experiences, and all that kind of stuff to kind of go into the role and into the character. This is what I do for all characters. And I had a scene I did a couple months back. It was from 4th of July, and I can't remember exactly who I was playing, but it was a soldier. I can't remember his name. And he had been through some stuff, and he wasn't feeling too great, and obviously I'm not him. I used like all my personal experiences, and I became him. I put the mask on, and then I used my own emotions, and I went into this role very prepared. I didn't think I did a great job, but then my instructor's like, yeah, that was perfect. I'm like, okay then. It's different for a lot of people though. It's a mixture of both for me.
At this point, what has been like the wildest thing you've done to prepare for a role? Was it like a little bit of a method going on here, or somehow it went like a little bit too far, or you went deep research that changed somehow the way you see things?
I've not had anything too crazy yet. I'm going to assume I will in the future, as most actors do. And I think the craziest thing I've ever done is for a scene I did where I was kissing somebody, I did a lot of practice, like so much practice. We wanted to get this really, like really right. And I think that's probably the craziest thing I've done. I've not really done anything too crazy in that aspect. But like I said, I'm sure in the future I'm gonna do some crazy, crazy preparing.
And how do you kind of protect your own emotions when you're kind of constantly digging into somebody else's life, basically, on this character? Like how kind of you set like a barrier between, okay, this is how far I'm gonna go, preventing so my own emotions might get involved, let's say.
I'll be honest here. I haven't figured that one out fully. I still use a lot of my emotions for these scenes, and the past 2 years have been really bad for me. I've had a lot of emotional trauma and all that kind of stuff, and so that keeps coming up whenever I'm doing a scene. But it's a good thing if it needs to be a good thing, and it is still pretty difficult for me to protect my emotions, but it is also good for the scene. Usually, the way I'm dealing coping with, protecting my emotions, sorry, right now is I'm just doing a little meditation thing, listening to music and, like, calming music and, that kinda stuff, or I'm distracting my mind by, I don't know, doing, like, sim racing or something like that, and that's one of the ways I've done it my entire life, and it doesn't work perfectly, but it works a lot, and, I haven't gotten anything too bad yet or too emotionally, what's the word, damaging or whatever. I don't know what other word to use there. But it's yeah, there's a lot of mechanisms I use. Just it's mostly trying to distract myself from the scene I just did and trying to drag my mind away from going back into that dark place and separating myself back into a lighter, more happy area.
The acting world, can be a huge roller coaster, right? So how do you stay grounded when everything feels chaotic, basically?
Kind of like I said before, it's kind of inevitable that the acting world will get chaotic in some form and it'll drag you into the chaos, right? But it's important to just keep your head looking forward and not get stuck in the chaos, if you know what I mean. I can't really think of any examples right now, but it's super important to just keep looking forward and keep going and being there and not let it impact you like badly or whatever, and just keep your mind forward and don't let it impact you as much as it wants to.
What's something about being an actor that no one ever talks about, but absolutely they should?
I don't know if well, I mean most people have probably heard of this, but it recently actually kind of just clicked in my mind over like the past year or two. Comparison is the thief of joy. And it's so true when it comes to acting. Like when I started out acting, I was comparing myself to everybody. Like if I saw somebody who'd been doing this for, I don't know, say 3 years, I'd be like, oh, you're better than me. Oh, you're better than me. Like, don't do that. Just be yourself. If you started only a month ago, that's fine, right? It's a process. It's just like anything in life. You got to build your way up, and if you keep comparing yourself, that's gonna really bring you down, and you don't want to do that, do you? You want to keep going, and you want to get better and better. Like instead of comparing yourself, you should go over to those people and be like, "Oh, how did you get this far in your career?" And you should take what they say and you should apply it to yourself. Don't compare yourself. Like if you're not as good as them, you're not as good as them. And I've heard this a couple of times. Even the more skilled, more advanced, sorry, they still don't know everything. Like they could learn stuff off of you. You could learn stuff off of them, even if you haven't had as much experience. Sorry, even if you're not as experienced, they can still look down to you and be like, "Hey, how did you do this?" or whatever. Like, everybody's always learning everything, right? And I think it's not a good thing to compare yourself with the people who have been doing this for longer. It was very difficult for me to learn, actually. I did, like I said, I did it all the time, and it really brought me down. But I've recently learned to kind of just let go of that and ask
Mm.
people how they did stuff. Like, I get asked how I did stuff, and I ask other people. Like, it's a two-way thing, you know?
When people watch your work years from now, tell me what's the one thing you hope they feel or remember about you?
I want to be an inspirational person. I want to help people grow and help people realize their how good they are and whatever they do, not just acting. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to do movies about, oh, you can do this, you can do this. I mean, sometimes I probably will, unless like I'd never get the opportunity to do that. But even if you're watching, say, here's an example. Say, Shadow of Vengeance, my film, was made professionally. Say, I don't know, Universal was doing it or something. I doubt that. And I was in it. I don't want people to look at that being like, oh, he's just some guy, he's just some actor, right? I want people to actually look back and see me as a guy who kind of just made a step towards doing what I want. I mean, every actor does that, but I want people to look at me and be like, well, if this guy does it, I can do it, you know? And I'm not, it might sound selfish, I don't know, but it's something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to encourage people to do what they truly want to do, and I've always wanted to get people to take a good step out of their comfort zone, you know,
Mm,
and it's really important to me to do that.
okay. Okay. And what would yeah, like what's the word or phrase that will sum up your career at this point?
Exciting. There's a lot going on in it right now, and there's so much that has happened. And ever since I started 5 years ago, so much has happened. Like, I've been in so many different classes. I went to the first thing I did was drama class, obviously in high school. I did a couple of productions there, and then I went to this place called Calgary Actor Studio with Daniel Lipman. He was a really good instructor. Then I went to Side Performers Academy, and then now I am at Company Rogues, and I'm taking the 2-year masterclass course. And it's like I said, everything's a process. I think it's important to find the excitement in this process, which it's a very slow process. I will give you that, but it's an important process if you want to truly do this career and make it. Even actually, no, I'll tell you what, in just life, it's important to take things slow and just wait. You know, patience is key, you know.
You know what? My final question, right? So we can all enjoy and relax here. So here it is. What do you think that could be the best title for this episode?
Oh, the best title for this episode. Has the journey been taken yet?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, perhaps something between journey for sure. But you can, at the end it's your thing here, so it's okay. So shall we leave it with the one you said or
Yeah, yeah, I don't think I'll be able to think about of anything else just yet. Maybe in like 3 years from now, I'll be like, oh, I should have named it that. But
okay. Okay. So what was it again?
the journey.
The journey. Got it. Actually, yes. Now that I remember, yeah, there is one who likes me call the journey, but yeah, it's okay. But man, at the end, what can I say? The fact that you're doing what you do, the fact that you're pursuing it, that's pretty cool, and also the fact that you keep pushing forward, right? I mean, it's never too late to start something for sure,
Oh,
and that is super important. I once interview a voiceover artist who, at that point, she was recently starting. She was I think she was at her mids, like 40, something like that. She started in the voiceover, and then like years from now, right now, she's getting awards from for best voiceover. She gets contracts for give the voice to audiobooks, things like that. And that's pretty cool because at the end it shows that for sure. Um, age is not a problem as long as you kind of
that,
focus and determine on what you pursue. And I'm super sure that our next conversation will be about the multiple thousands projects you've been here because that's pretty cool. And also you are showing, as I was saying before, you're showing that things are possible. And I think that is an incredible, powerful message to to spread, especially now in this crazy era we're currently living. That's pretty cool. So
Yeah, I think it's important to think if you put your mind to anything, you can do anything you want, really, right? And I think a lot of people don't particularly realize that. And it took me to a while to realize that. Like you now, you're doing this podcast, which you put your mind to it and you made it happen, right? Just like anything in life, say like big movie star, race car driver, anything. Like just put your mind to it and it'll happen, right? Just obviously you got to spend time to do it, but yeah.
Totally. So I want to thank you so much for making this happen. I also want to thank those who stayed the whole episode. Let us know what you think in the comments below, but also because we discovered why Logan is super badass. Let's follow him. Let's make him viral. # Team Logan. And again, man, thank you for making this happen. Keep rocking out there. Keep kicking ass. And I'll be seeing you in the next one.
Thank you very much. It's been an honor to be on this. Thank you so much.